Mike the Ref Maloney, Big Bad Boris on the call here tonight. It's
Let's go! Let's go!
Third! Super Kick Party! Yeah, pay the money for that. No one. And of course, you gotta get the cop in the skin. Hey, yo, 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 and away we go. Those on YouTube, we are just firing up. For those on Twitch, we've been here for a few hours already, so welcome everybody to the AEW Collision Sidecast portion of the show. For those watching over on the YouTube side, we are just firing up there. For those watching on Twitch, thank you for hanging around during our WWE 2K25 WrestleMania, which seemed to work out almost perfect because we literally just finished up. We literally finished up our last match, and there was like 2 minutes left in the game here. So they are going to have a little bit of a ender to the game. So like the post-show talking, it is TNT's last ever show on last ever NBA game on TNT. For now, as if you haven't heard, Amazon picked up the contract that TNT had, so unfortunately no more NBA on TNT, which could spark some interesting stuff for our end. As you're looking through this, like, there is a possibility that Collision could get moved to Thursday to replace that spot. In your opinion, do you think it would be better to move to Thursday or keep it in the Saturday spot? Myself personally, I think it would be better if they kept the Saturday spot but just moved the time. The tradition of wrestling on TNT was always Saturday night 6:05. You tell me moving Collision up 2 hours wouldn't increase a lot of the viewership as people actually try to go out and have a life on a Saturday night. Not saying we don't. Thank you for being here. Don't go away. I'm not trying to insult you. But realistically, as we're talking here, a lot of people by 8 o'clock, they want to be, or 10 o'clock, I guess, over in the East Coast here. People are out and about doing stuff most of the time on a Saturday night. So your audience is always going to be limited. Now, you also have to consider what TNT wants from the Collision show. Do they just want live content that's going to fill a Saturday night instead of having old movies in there and just any number that they get could be a good thing? Because if that's all they want, then we're lined up perfectly as to what we should be getting. So don't ever forget that. Like, it's not just, everybody's expecting to get X or Y off everything. It's literally, just literally going through the channels here, just making sure we're not missing anything. TNT's still running their post shows, so we haven't lost anything quite yet here tonight, so. Oh. At least I think they're still running it. We'll see here in a second. But want the Pacers to win the NBA championship would it be if WWE showed up by giving them a... Honestly, I hate those championship belts. I really do. By the way, hi, nice to see you, Logan. Myself, I want Shea to win. If I had a personal preference, I want Shea to win because, hashtag Canadian. if it's not going to be New York, because the atmosphere in New York and the origin of basketball is in New York, right? It's not just what we get here in it's a different vibe in New York. It's a different feel in New York. It's like hockey in Canada. You just get a different feel for it. But Indiana, it is a booming market. It is a decent market. Oh, they're going to be handing out the trophies, so we got time. We got time to relax. Because yeah, as soon as I still see the TNT Sports logo in the corner, we still have time. Yeah, honestly, I want Oklahoma to win because nobody wants Oklahoma to win. Would that be a better way to put it? The fact that there is bias against smaller markets in many ways. I do find that quite often. It's just like the feeling that we have that in the NHL that nobody in Canada deserves to win it. It's always because, oh well, the tax situation, or yeah, American viewers versus Canadian viewers, or population, and like. In terms of the Stanley Cup final, I'm not really that concerned about who wins it. I wouldn't mind to see McDavid just win one and just say to hell with it, it's done. But in terms of championship-wise, like, those titles, I'd like to see AEW actually come out with one. Give it out to Shea if they win. Because you know how Halliburton's so close with WWE, and apparently him and Brunson probably... I don't know if they'll have a match. I think they'll have a... maybe they'll have a representative match. Like each guy gets a wrestler that's associated with him and has a match. I could see that happening, but not... I can't see those two actually wrestling. With the amount of money that those guys make, there is no way in hell they'd let them get in a ring for anything serious. Granted, if the money's there, you really can't put it aside for anything. Really. But in terms of in terms of Collision tonight, I keep forgetting what day of the week it is for a moment there. I should look at the logo on the damn screen. In terms of Collision, what match are you guys looking forward to here most? There's like a new version of the Don Callis family versus Paragon and Ishii, where I think it's Roppongi Vice and Takeshita versus Paragon and Ishii. You got Sky Blue taking on Mina Shirakawa. You got Kazuchika Okada taking on Anthony Bowens in an eliminator match for the... Oh, hold on here. We got a graphic. Nope, still a show. All right. It's probably going to be right after Inside the NBA here, after the presentation. Once again, like I said, this is the last night of TNT Sports covering basketball. So you can sort of... It's unforgivable, but it's forgivable in terms of why they're doing what they're doing. The only reason I forgive it more than anything else is I live in the Mountain Time Zone. So right now it is 8:45. So it's relatively not late yet. I feel for you guys on the East Coast right now that it's 10:45 and we haven't even started. And hell, there's some people in some time zones that aren't going to get to see this before midnight. It's rough. I am happy to see Pascal win a championship tonight, though, by the way. Even if it is an Eastern Conference title. And he did get the MVP, so... All right. I'm sorry. I just took a second there to check out Pascal, but seeing a former Raptor doing well, and let's face it, that team needed to be blown up. They had such a great time when they got to the finals with Kawhi there, and I think it was 2019. But then, yeah, it just ended up being a toilet for a lot of them, so. And just imagine, folks, if New York would have won this game, we'd already be watching wrestling already. Now you could hate the Knicks even more. Just throwing that out there for you. All wrestling fans hate the Knicks right now. Just because, they would have been able to do this all in Game 7 on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. That's why Duster's still on. Yeah, I turned over to Sportsnet because they're doing the trophy presentation. They announced Pascal Siakam for the MVP here, and they're doing, like I said, it's the last NBA game on TNT. It's got time to fetch now. Yeah, absolutely, you got a little bit of time here. So, and Judge, AEW for life, absolutely. You know what? Good wrestling is good wrestling. I don't care what brand it is. It's just the fact that if you turn up for an AEW show, you got a higher probability of getting at least one great match that you enjoy. Like, there are so many different matches you could pick from, like, and everything's not everyone's cup of tea. But I find that, even if there's like 2 or 3 matches that don't suit your fancy to AEW, every show you're probably going to catch 1 or 2 that are still good. So, still good according to you. And like, I know there's been a little bit of a sentiment as we're in here that, a lot of people don't like some of the violence that comes up here. You got ringside all out tickets? You must be in Canada, my friend. The joys of being, you know what? The thing about those tickets is the fact they are also, they're cheap. Well, relatively speaking compared to others. So you're in Toronto. Yeah, that makes sense. And I know there's a few here that are playing there yet. Haven't got my ticket yet, but I'm excited to get mine June 2nd. Yeah. Picking it up on Monday. I don't blame you. Unfortunately, I'm in Edmonton, so the flight down is a little bit too, like right now, the cost just to get to Toronto is just a little too spicy for me right now. When is Collision on? Well, right now they're doing the trophy presentation for the Eastern Conference champion Indiana Pacers. That was holding it up. If it would have been the other way around, and it would have been if the Knicks would have won, we probably would have had wrestling on right now. But now they just got to wait, and the presentations are done. They're doing their talking points to wrap up the thoughts in the game. And Collision should be coming on I don't want to say right away, but pretty quick here. If I had to guess, we're probably going to be starting at about 11 Eastern. They'll go to the top of the hour and just finish up that way. According to the TV guide, they're scheduled to be on till 11:30, but I don't think they're going to be on that late. It's just the NBA games are always scheduled for an extra half hour more than they usually are in terms of the TV guide. Typically when you're dealing with personally and professionally, I've been so elevated by my teammates. So for everyone that set the stage before us, and for everyone that will take the torch now, thank you. The great thing about live television is it does live forever. So we will live forever, and so will the memories. So the head executives for so apparently they're showing off the just bringing in all the executives. Like, for all the years that NBA has been on TNT, this is the last time they're going to be here. So yeah, they're doing all their reminiscings and all that. Do I think Hangman will beat Moxley at All In? Yes. Do I think it'll be the main event? No, I actually don't. I feel that I feel that Monet and Storm will be the main event. I do think that's been planned for a little while here, and I think the fact that WWE is booking Evolution 2 the next day is no coincidence because of that. To try to limit the impact of that match being the first ever women's main event at a AEW show. AEW pay-per-view. Let's put it that way. Because you don't want to say AEW show because they are doing regularly on Dynamite, and also Grand Slam Australia was main evented by Mariah May and Toni Storm. But in terms of the drawing power, like Moxley's been sneaky good in terms of drawing power for AEW. For all the talk that people didn't like the storylines that he's doing and whatnot, you got to remember, it as much as it sucks, the WWE rub is real. And the fact that everybody knows that he was there, and the fact they're hearing that he's a loose cannon compared to what he was in WWE, that'll turn a lot of casual eyes in there. But at the same time, as much as I think they're going to produce a very good story between Moxley and Hangman, because they got 6 weeks. Like, Moxley's used to 4 weeks. What do I think the last 3 matches of All In will be? Who? Third last one will be Omega Okada. I'll be honest, I think Mox and Hangman goes a little earlier. I think Mox and Hangman, they want to give a little bit of separation here because they want to make sure that that women's match gets a spotlight. I do think you're going to get another breather match in between Okada, Omega, and Storm and Monet. There is a possibility that could open. It all depends on the build. It all depends on the build. And I guess if you're not last, you're first, right? And that's the Punk spot too. Because Punk and Joe ended up opening with the... wasn't it Punk and Joe that opened up with the fake world title? Or the Collision World title, or whatever you want to call it. There is a possibility to do that there. And they had the Cowboy win. The real championship at All In 23, yeah. Who do you think is going to win the Booker? It's too early to tell. Right now, Tony Khan. Right now, WWE is booking themselves into a corner over and over again. To the point where they have to do an emergency title flip to get somebody on the roster because they forgot they didn't have enough people to fill in the Money in the Bank slots. And to me, it feels like it really does feel like that's what happened there when it comes to looks like you might be getting the finals graphics here, but TNA has been doing some great work with their shows. Nick can talk about that more than I can, but the fact that they booked Tessa in there and everything that's gone on with Tessa as they've been going around, I understand she's injured now, but I still don't feel confident in putting whoever's booking that show in that kind of position. Yeah, TNA has been good. I think we might be getting close, chat. Just letting you know here. They were doing all their great technician, great everybody deals there. So if that's the case, then we're going to have Collision right away. But MLW, we're going to have to see how MLW does, because they're really cleaning out the deck chairs for a lot of people that, because they're looking to sign a whole bunch of people. They're letting a whole bunch of people run out of contracts. I don't think she'll be the champ because of it. She'll come close. But the fact that she's even in a world title picture will turn a lot of people off from that product. Even the fact if she even gets to that point, which she has. I understand that. She was in that spot with Grace there for a bit. But brought in so many women's for the Knockouts division. They added Indy, Xia Li, Harley Hudson, Mila Grace. Yeah, and like I said, right now, if you had to book it for this 6 months, it's Tony Khan, easy. But Impact has that ability to do it. I'll be honest, the trick thing, I want to see how it develops before I actually think whether it's a good thing or not for what they did for it. New Japan, well, New Japan's a whole different cat altogether. What they do with JC Jane here and how they figure out what they're going to do with this booking of the not only the mid-card division, but also the women's world title is going to speak a lot to Shawn Michaels' capability of fixing things up as they go. Triple H, well, I'm sorry, but I think he's almost given up on this year. Believe in Shawn more than Triple H? Absolutely. I honestly think that Triple H has given up on this year as an FU to what happened with The Rock. And with sort of what John Cena's doing right now is sort of apropos for what Triple H is basically thinking as we go across, right? Because Triple H is basically saying, well, no, screw you guys. You did me dirty. When you brought in The Rock and you changed all my plans. And I honestly feel this heel turn with Cena was supposed to happen at Mania. And the fact that TKO literally just basically said, Hunter, we love you, but we need to fix this right now and we need to sell tickets right now. And personally, if you want to sell tickets for a show, you do that change before the show, not on that show. Because on that show, you've already sold the tickets. You know what's going on. You don't get the opportunity to come back and you don't get a chance to change that around already. Yeah, absolutely. TKO is more to blame, but there is also a possibility and probability that Triple H could have just said, well, screw you. I'm gonna book what I have to, but I'm also going to book some of this stuff absolutely the way you want it. And we're going to show you how bad it's going to look like. But the fact that he's booked the women's division so... Ugh. Is that a proper word? Ugh. All right, they still got it inside the NBA, so I think we're F for another half hour here, so... Just giving you a heads up here. We're probably going to... If anybody needs to go get some snacks, get a few beers in you, this might be the opportunity to do it because, well, they're still doing a wrap-up show of the shows, so we might not get started till 11:30 Eastern. But yeah, just... Here's another question for you, chat. Who do you think is the wrestler of the year so far this year? No, better yet. Wrestler of the year, there's too many bummers to pick. How about match of the year? Not including the fact that we probably had 4 candidates at the last pay-per-view just a week ago. One thing I will say is it's really easy to exclude a lot of the stuff on WrestleMania. I think the only matches you would consider for a match of the year ballot for Mania this year would have been the men's and women's triple threats. The main event of night 1, the opening match of day 2. Just tell you point blank, that main event between Cody and Cena, in my opinion, it is in, I don't want to go Lawrence Taylor territory. I don't want to go that low. But for me, it feels like, and I'm gonna be pulling back way back when. I'm gonna go back to WrestleMania 8, the main event, which shouldn't have been the main event, should have been Savage Flair, but I digress. Cena Cody reminds me of Hogan and Sid. And how bad that match ended up looking when Papa Shango missed his cue. If you guys didn't watch the match, it's your typical Hogan. It was supposed to be his last match in WWF before he was heading out to do movies. And it went down just as your typical match. The only difference is this time Sid came back from the leg drop. Or no, sorry. Hogan hit his typical, he gets beaten up, he gets hit with the power bomb, he goes down for the cover, he hulks up, does all his things. Hogan hits the leg drop. Papa Shango was supposed to come out and interfere before the 3 count, so it gets thrown out. All right, Judge, you go ahead, go get some sleep. We will catch you later. Sorry that you're going to have to wait a little longer here for Collision tonight. But, yeah, for me, that's right there. Ospreay, Fletcher, Steel Cage, Tony Mariah, Revolution, Oba, Trick, Javon. That was a hell of a match. Kenny and Kid wrestled, Wrestle Dynasty. Women's triple threat of Mania. That's actually a pretty good top 5. And yeah, I don't think you could essentially go in any order. Like, there are so many this year. Like, you even got to step back and look at the story between Hangman and Ospreay. The fact that they were using their main opponent's finishing moves as part of the match. And it just took one mistake for Hangman to win in that one. I would include that in a list. I would include Wrestle Kingdom was fun to watch. First time, hey, you know what? Every year Wrestle Kingdom is a lot of fun. If I get the time, I do watch it. It's just, like I said, 2 a.m. on January 4th. Even the one the day later, I got a chance to watch a little bit more Wrestle Dynasty than I did than Wrestle Kingdom this year. Yeah, 6-hour stream. Well, there you go. Like, it is a battle of attrition when you want to watch some of this wrestling. Like, I got a little bit used to it thanks to, there's a program in Texas pre-COVID. It was actually the first ones I saw here on Twitch. That was live event streaming on Twitch. It's called Wrestle Circus. That's when I learned about Sammy Guevara. Basically what they did is they had a subscribers only pay-per-views. So if you were a subscriber, you got to watch the show. And that's back in the early days where you really didn't know a lot about what Twitch subs really were doing and whatnot. And glad that some people got paid out of that. It's amazing now because I'm just thinking back because we're just about to reach the 5-year affiliate plateau here on the channel here. I think it's 3 weeks from now we're actually going to be hitting that. So, and just how things have grown here on Twitch ever since. Forgive me, I'm on a Pepsi parade tonight. So yeah, if anybody's interested, the NBA Finals are starting in Oklahoma on Thursday, which makes a lot of sense. I wonder. Duster is literally just finishing up right now, so there is a possibility they could sneak in Collision right away here. I doubt it, but yeah, we're gonna. It's a very appreciative of you guys being AEW fans the way you are. The way that you just keep up with the product, regardless of what time it is, you're always available to watch. Like next week, just as a reminder, there is no Saturday AEW. It is all on Wednesday, 4 hours, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. It is a war of attrition, literally. And it's probably going to be a primary setup because they're doing two. Over the next 2 weeks, they're running Wednesday 4 hours straight, I do believe. I'm going to have to double check about the 11th, but it's called the Summer Blockbuster, and not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that they're not running anything else that weekend, so. And then once that happens, I can see why they're running 4 hours this week, because next Saturday is Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide and everything else. As long as there's wrestling of some kind I'm usually watching, I can usually find something to like a show, even if it's not my cup of tea most. That's fair. And that's the way I used to be as well. And just find something, literally. Hell, if you want to find something, go look on our YouTube channel. There's like a whole ton of matches available there. So they've decided to go with okay, so yeah, they're showing replays of eTalk Canada over on our USA channel right now. So used to be like that the way with Collision. I never liked it, but started coming around. And you know what? Collision is a bit of a. It reminds me a lot of what WCW Saturday Night was. The only difference is they, a little more often than not, Collision will throw those higher level matches that Saturday Night would not. For those that never got a chance to watch WCW Saturday Night, the 605, TBS Superstation, the Tradition, it usually ended up being, more often than not, you'd have like 4 or 5 jobber matches, or as I call them now, already in the ring matches, because your opponent's already in the ring. And then you would have maybe 1, maybe 2 if you got lucky, which you would consider main event level matches. Basically, they were there to get over the wrestlers that were going to be on the next pay-per-view. And it was a tried and true formula that was used for a very long time, not only on the indies, not only in the minor promotions for tapings, but even WWF at the time was doing the same thing. Like growing up as a kid, Maple Leaf Wrestling was what we had here. It was an hour long. It was 3 jobber matches. You'd always have a promo from other wrestlers after every match. And then you'd have 1 mid-card main event. And they were doing that for years for us. But you know what? It was entertaining to... You're a young kid and you don't know any better. It's always it. Sounds atrocious? Well, in many ways it was. But the thing is, Nick, and it's one thing I try to teach a lot of people when they talk about stuff like this. It's not atrocious because you don't know any better. It's like when, you see somebody who you look at them and in many ways they look like they're dirt poor. They're down on their luck. They're just happy being, very simple life, nothing crazy, nothing, no extras in their life. And you wonder how do they look at themselves in the mirror? And you just have to look back, sit back and relax and just realize, some people just don't know that they're supposed to be miserable. And that is a very, very powerful thing, especially in the year 2025. Back then, it was just as powerful, but even now, these days, like if you sit back and you, like in the world of social media and that, everybody's supposed to be on this level. If you're happy with this level and you don't even know what's up there, and more importantly, don't care, that is powerful. Sorry I got into a morality code here as we got into the middle of talking about wrestling, but sorry, I just keep flipping back and forth to check. Since I don't have the volume on because I don't want to get copyright stricken, I just keep trying to see if they're shutting things off or whatnot. But it's also like, and I'll bring this all right back to wrestling and something we were talking about earlier during the WWE stream. One of the talking points we talked about this week is Mariah May. And I think that's probably the biggest talking point for AEW fans this week outside of the pay-per-view and all the results and everything. Mariah May's goal ever since she started wrestling was to get into WWE. Like, it wasn't to get as good as you can get. It's to get to WWE. I've had friends who are wrestlers whose one goal was WWE. They had a chance to even be whether it be ROH or AEW, they had a chance to be there. But their goal was WWE, no matter what. And it actually probably cost them a chance to go to one of these bigger promotions. And to me personally, I'm a little bit more open-minded. My goals are never that high. I just want to see good wrestling. And honestly, having that kind of goal makes you open to a lot of other things and it makes you happier a lot more. Just for the fact that if you got good wrestling, you're happy. And I know that's a bit of a long-winded speech about that, but do what makes you happy. Watch what makes you happy. That's why I appreciate having you all here. Like, we're all here, and for the most part, we can disagree about certain things. I know there's been a couple people in here that, we've had stringent disagreements about what we think about certain finishes or who goes where and everything like that. But at the same time, we don't mind hanging out and just enjoying wrestling. And that's all we want more than anything else, is just to enjoy wrestling. We're not looking to go crazy here. We're not looking to, we're not saying one promotion has to be better than the other. We do talk about, most of us here are like WWE compared to AEW. Most of the people that come in here do have a thought that, there is a priority between one or the other. I don't argue with people over wrestling because it's all subjective, so I don't try to change people. You know what? There's a difference between changing an opinion and belittling them for it. There's a very big difference. I do recommend trying to change people's opinions. Not to the point where you're trying to force your opinion on someone, but there's never a problem to turn around and say, okay, I understand what's going on here, and I understand why you like this so much. Maybe I'll like it too. It's not you need to watch this or you're a bad person. No, you're never going to get anybody to watch because of that. And that, if you want to look at the results of stuff like that, go check out X. Or shitter, as Zodiac likes to call it in here. Pressure's the difference and preaching him too much. Yeah, exactly. Like, I will say this. I have banned somebody in here before after he literally came in after one of the best pay-per-views that AEW has put on. And I think it was the last All In. And literally just popped into the chat, and the first words he said, just an average show, no storylines told, very poor performance. You're here to cause shit. Because you obviously are not watching the product, nor do you want to watch the product. Ban Hammer. And to this day, I still have him banned. He basically turned into a Call of Duty player in my DMs on X. If you play Call of Duty, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Apparently, I enjoy necrophilia because I sleep with my mother. Stuff like that. Yeah, so once again, like I said, I in this stream, I do like to follow the Jim Rome policy of taking care of things here. And some people are weird, yeah. I like to take care of the Jim Rome policy here. Have a take, don't suck. If you're going to have a take just to have a take, then don't bother here. Because if you just try to push yourself onto everybody, it really doesn't help you a whole lot. I think what I'm going to do right now, just to break up the monotony here a little bit, just about talking about wrestling, I want to bring up what we're going to be doing here for the next month here in June. I've actually done graphics. I'll be releasing them tomorrow. Yes, I'm seeing e-talk stuff still. But the feed for the NBA coverage was on Sportsnet 1. So my TV's currently on Sportsnet 1 waiting for Inside the NBA to finish. So that's how I'm checking things right now. Because once Inside the NBA is finished, then they're going into wrestling there. So, but I just want to show you guys. Think we start in 10? Probably. So while we got a second here, I actually did graphics this month. This is what we're going to be coming up doing in June here over on the Twitch channel here. So this is my chance to plug and advertise a little bit here. We're going to be doing a little split fiction here. We've already got about halfway through the game with Kayla J. So we're typically looking at Thursdays for that. On YouTube TV, Collision's already started. It is a tape show, so. And then we're probably looking at next Saturday after Money in the Bank. We're going to be here looking at WWE 2K25 Online GM. We got to play it by ear because of these 4-hour Dynamites on Wednesdays. Once we're done Split Fiction, we're going to get into River City Girls 2 just because I need a little bit of break before I go into a game like Expedition 33. The Fight Club's going to be here. By the way, hi Nat, it's good to see you here. We're going to get into the Fight Club a little bit, as well as we're getting into the Collision and Dynamite every time it's on here this month. We are always here. Jeffrey, good to see you here. What do you think will be emerging talent within AEW women's division besides Mercedes and Tony? Seems like the others are cooling. I don't necessarily think they're cooling down. I think we're going to get a little bit of it all depends on which way they want to go here, because Thekla and Jamie Hayter is going to be an absolute banging rivalry. I will say that right now. That is going to be an absolutely insane rivalry between those two. as I'm going through to check things right now. But I would also say that I do think they do end up bringing oh, sorry, I'm just all right. So yeah, they're not sorry, I was just checking on there. The YouTube, this is a tape show, so YouTube TV, I guess, released it just earlier than they were supposed to. In terms of emerging women for the roster, Megan Bain's going to make an extreme push once again. I honestly feel that once they get rid of the Continental and International titles into the Intercontinental title at All In, I have a very strong feeling that they're going to introduce women's tag titles. I think the match on Wednesday on Collision spoke a lot about that. I think the response to the tag match at All In, at Double or Nothing on the pre-show, and how people talked about it, the consistency going through, and the number of ladies that are actually forming groups now. Like, don't forget, you have Deanna and Taya together. You're starting to get Sky Blue and Julia Hart now are back together. Penelope Ford and Megan Bain. You got Harley and Anna Jay. You got Ty Mello possibly coming back to work with Anna as well, because Harley apparently is taking some time off. By the way, you got the Renegades as well. They're still... they haven't been shown that much because of the injury up on the main show, but once they get a little bit of exposure, they'll be fine. And once again, you have so many ladies down in Ring of Honor that are going to be able to be showcased up on the main roster. And don't forget, they are allowed to sign people. They are allowed to sign people. They just have to be good people. I honestly feel like, in terms of a slam dunk, I think Dakota Kai is one of the first ones to get signed once her time is available here. By the way, just for a little context here and a little bit of fun notes, and I saw this on a few posts here. Isn't it funny that Tyrese Halliburton, who is a staunch Raw guy, is going to be the guy leading into Collision tonight? Just throwing that out there for y'all. Because right now they're doing an interview with Halliburton, and I didn't see the graphic who it was, and I'm not familiar with the pace. Oh, Siakam, never mind. I just didn't get a good picture of it, that's all. Yeah, once they're done that interview, they're probably going to wrap things up here tonight. Yeah, they're just wrapping up that interview, and I got a feeling that's going to wrap up everything here for the NBA on TNT, and then we're going to get it right into Collision. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things we could do here to set up a women's tag division. I do think they're going to have to get the TBS title off Monet if she ends up beating Toni Storm, which I don't even think is a guarantee. I think Toni Storm could be coronated at All In. I honestly feel that Storm and Monet is similar to Hangman and Ospreay when it comes to both of them politicking to put the other over. Because, well, let's face it, it's probably the case. And yeah, apparently Ospreay and Hangman were literally, up until the day before when Tony actually told her what was going on and just told them to keep their mouths shut. They were pushing pretty hard to have each other win, and that's a sign of a great company. The selflessness, the ability to put other people over, the fact that things have to grow the way they do. It's actually pretty damn awesome all the way across the board. Once again, just flop it around the socials, see if I can catch anything else about this. Just watching a whole bunch of people just stop it with the NBA. I don't care if it's their last night on TNT. Get to wrestling. Good things take time, my friends. Plus the fact, like you said, it is bottom of the hour. We're getting pretty close. And we're getting to the neato stat of the night. So we're getting... all these ending segments are going to be... as we get a TNT chant going on here. Quite interested to find out who goes heel all in with Hangman and Swerve questioning each other. And does Mox go face? Honestly, I don't think Mox... there is no way Mox is a face out of this. There is absolutely zero chance of that. Hangman's going to be the sentimental face there. I do think that I do think things get a little more defined the closer we get. Because remember, we have 7 weeks. Like it is what, 6 weeks from today till All in Texas. You could have 3 face and heel turns between then. They're going to have to smooth this out. I honestly feel that you're going to get an Ospreay Swerve tag team going on against the Bucks at this point. Either you're going to get Ospreay versus Swerve, or you're going to get Ospreay and Swerve. One or the other. And I think those two team up to take out the Bucks because they feel that they're the reason they're blocking. They're going to be trying to stop Hangman. I think there's going to be a moment somewhere in the next 6 weeks where they're actually going to have Hangman confront the Bucks, and the Bucks are basically going to say either you join us or we're going to stop you from winning the title. And that's when you're going to get that big come to Jesus moment with Swerve, and he's actually going to figure out, okay, well, maybe this isn't happening the way I thought it was going to. Because that's the thing. Everybody keeps forgetting. We have like 6 weeks. Yeah, they've been coming back strong these last months. And you know what the funny part is? People got to realize, is Tony Khan perfect? Hell no. He has done some stuff that is absolutely... like, don't forget Revolution's main event was Jon Moxley versus Cope in one of the most dead matches that the most formulaic dead matches that you have seen ever in AEW for a main event. But all in all, where he's going for most of the stuff that he's doing a pretty decent job. Like I said, he's not perfect. Far from it. He's got a lot of work to do on the women's division. He's got to set up a couple more feuds. Like right now, he's putting all his eggs in his basket. He is playing the card that, okay, I need to do this match now because I don't know if I'll be able to get to do it later. And that is a reality. Like, I think, like, look what happened with Mariah May and Toni Storm. I almost feel that was going to be the main event of Revolution until Mariah went up to Tony and said, look, I'm not renewing my contract. So then, let's put you in the mid-card. Let's put that match where it need to be. Where I don't have to put you over for being such top on the company, because ultimately that's going to raise you up to a level that I don't need you to be at. I love how everybody's saying, hey, TNT's signing off quickly to get to Collision. It's not. It definitely is not. And you know what? With all due respect to wrestling fans, and I understand everybody's anger about this and how upset they are, but think of it this way. And I think, Nick, you could understand this, and anybody else who's been a streamer. If you've been up in front of this microphone for X amount of time, like I've been at this for 10 years. I ended up covering Alberta indie wrestling for a good 5. And by 5, I mean every freaking weekend I was at a show on top of my regular job. But to simply be told that your job is done, you're not doing it anymore, but you do get a chance to say goodbye, you're going to take every opportunity to use it wherever you can, right? So I don't blame these guys for as long as it's taking here, but eventually they are going to have to pull the plug, but you either leave early enough to be the hero or stay long enough to become the villain. Isn't that the Batman phrase that they used? And I'll be honest, I really do hope that they have it set up properly over on our USA channel, because if it ain't there, yeah, the Riddler, yeah. I think it would actually no, it was about Two-Face. When I left my last job, I didn't want anyone to make. Fair enough. There's a thing called modesty, and I'll be blunt. Most athletes don't have that. Most top athletes don't have that. And there's 3 very top athletes out there. And Charles Barkley. Sorry, had to. Oh, it's perfect now because we're for those that are in Canada here and try to check out the USA channel, they have Ice Road Truckers, which is an ultimate indicator that they're about to switch to something else. Because it's always the show that we either go back from or go to. If you guys remember the episode where Mongo got celebrated and then all of a sudden it faded to black and went to a show, that's the show it went to, Ice Road Truckers. All right, Ernie John, they're doing their final speeches, which, like I said, they're finishing their job. I love how. Do you think Takeshita can push the world champion in 2026? Loving the new guys like Speedball, Walking Weapon. Shame we never got those 30. Fair enough, yeah. Jeffrey, to answer your question. For Nick at City Work Condition, yeah, fair enough. Jeff, to answer your question, it's tough. I don't know if Takeshita fits into the world champion spot in 26. I got a weird feeling it might be 27. The only here's my wagon train. Watch the last. Yeah, it's fair. In terms of my lineage and where I think the title's going to go, I've been thinking about this for a while. Between now and next All In, not this All In, but next All In, I think you get Hangman. I think you get MJF. I think you get Darby. Then I think you get Kyle Fletcher. I think Kyle Fletcher's your world champion going into All In next year. He's going to take on Ospreay in the penultimate match at Wembley. And that will be the main event. Let's not even kid ourselves. Will beats Kyle. Takeshita beats Ospreay. And that's where Takeshita gets the title. If you could go through that little chain there, Fletcher's incredible. Fletcher's got the golden ticket lined up for him and ready to go. Hope Darby doesn't win. Nats, I really do hope that you're facetious on that one. You remember the Mills discussion about context? I'm glad I could pick up on the context of your hope you're kidding. Because the year that he was supposed to do it, he broke his ankle thanks to a... You're 100% serious. Nats, here's where I'll call you out on that one. He did plan on doing it in 2025. He planned on doing it in 2025 he planned on doing it in 2024. And wrestling cost him that trip before all this started. If you guys don't remember his last match before going, he actually wrecked his ankle. So he wasn't able to climb Mount Everest. Now this year, he gets to take his pick over wrestling, which I am more than 100% happy about. And honestly, Darby's over enough that I think it'd be reasonable to put him in that spot. All right. I think we're going to be up in just a moment here, folks. I'm thinking commercial break right now after the TNT guys are done. I'm going to wait for... TK's probably going to put a note out for everybody here momentarily. And everybody's just bitching. I understand the passion. Never liked Darby, but if I was CEO, I would have him. You know what? People got to live their dreams. And honestly, I have no problem with somebody if they want to do the dreams. Wish the Knicks would have won. If the Knicks would have won, we would have been halfway through the show already. But yeah, we're just moments away here, I hope. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If we don't get this fixed by the top of the hour, I'm tapping out too. So... just because, I do have to work in the morning and we've already been through it. I have to upload a video yet for tomorrow morning for the gaming channel. I like Darby. I don't see Darby as champ, though. I think he gets a small one. I think he gets a very small one, maybe a local one. Oh, no, Nats, you're allowed to feel what you feel. What do you think happens to Kenny Omega moving forward? I think he gets... First of all, I think he becomes the Intercontinental Champion, the first ever in AEW at All In. Because I think that's one of the most obvious matches that we're getting that they just haven't announced yet formally, because they have to get through Fyter Fest first. So they're going to get Okada versus Omega, unifying the two titles, and essentially getting rid of one of them. Which I think we could all agree that the International and the Continental title really haven't done a whole lot together. Everyone, just going through the chat a little bit more here. Sorry, folks. I think he wins it. I think he... Oh, here we go, folks. It just changed. Let's go. Collision is on, folks. If you're on the USA and Canada, Collision is up and live. We are ready, we are moving. Yes. But in terms of what we do with after Omega loses the Intercontinental Championship, I honestly feel that he sticks. I hate to make the comparison, but I think he's going to get the Roman Reigns contract. He'll be out there for a special event. He'll basically get what Danielson was going to eventually get, what Danielson might even get now. A match every once in a while. Doesn't have to have one consistently every day. But we're opening up strong right now. Claudio Castagnoli and Commander. And if you remember the history between these two, like, I do believe Claudio ended up losing a title thanks to where was it? The Hammerstein Ballroom? That's where Claudio got... Oh, that's right. Claudio missed out on... There it is. Claudio was headed to the playoffs of the C2, except Commander ended up spoiling it for him. Thanks to the Nux. I love the fact that AEW remembered to put this clip in here. I love it. I love the fact that they did it. Where are we at here? But yeah, so yeah, we are definitely going to be in for a long night of wrestling here. But you know what? Us wrestling fans, we're used to it. Here in AEW, we're so used to dealing with these long nights. Just because it's, well, hell, pay-per-views are 4 hours. Hell, Wednesday Dynamite's going to be 4 hours. So we're getting the international feed as well here tonight, so that'll work. But once again, everybody, for you sticking around here, both on Twitch and on YouTube, once again, thank you for being here. For those on YouTube, we are streaming on twitch.tv/MikeTheRef as well, so feel free to give us a follow over there. You know what? While this match opens up, I will put the note out for both, so just everybody can get a quick link. If I can type properly. I will get that in just a moment, sir. Just want to make sure that I... there we go. We'll throw that over. I'm going to pin that on both channels here. And pin that as well here. I might actually be semi-professional at one point here. But thank you for the stretch, my friend. I appreciate you. You guys might not like seeing it because, you know, well, I guess half of it's disappearing. But and yes, I am working on some new shirts. As the stream's getting all confused as I'm doing that there. I see the YouTube gear just going crazy there. Sorry about the little hiccup there. So for those that aren't familiar, another bonus here, just to let you know, quick know I'm on the channel. Oh my God. Right into the swing out of nowhere. Let's just say, is there anybody else that is insanely as strong as Claudio is? Like just raw power. Pound for pound, Claudio has to be number one. There's others available, but Claudio's just on another level. Like Powerhouse Hobbs is big and strong. Claudio, I think, would make Hobbs look foolish in many ways. Claudio has to be the strongest person per square inch. Yeah. And for the number of years that he's been wrestling, like, he started out, what, beginning of ROH almost? So he's almost been at it 20 some odd years already. We got so many good matches lined up here. Bowens and Okada. We're going to get Hechicero and Mystico. Oh, there it is. Mascata Dorada. That's it. Gets Hechicero. I'm looking forward to Sky Blue and Mina Shirakawa. Just for the fact, any chance to get Sky Blue in here post-injury. Great to see her back working again. I love the fact that as soon as it turned to the FTR graphic, literally none of the announcers want to say a word about it. Then we're going to get Gates and Agony in a Already in the Ring match. You know what? For all the signings that we lost, I honestly feel Commander is one of these guys that could really step up and be that. Like, you want to talk about the international title? You want to talk about the TNT title? Like, that sort of title, like the mid-card title? I understand that there's the ROH title involved, but oh God. Just listening to Tony call this, it is amazing. I hear MJF talking big about Richard Holiday. Would he be someone who can do... Jeff, I'm going to bring up something I brought up on X yesterday, and I know, Zodiac, you read it because you hit the like there. There's going to be a lot of people in the next few months going to be signing with a whole bunch of different companies, which is fine. Let everybody move all over the place here. And I know this is a very roundabout way to answer your question, Jeff, but I honestly have a great answer for it here, I feel. You can have the greatest talents in the world, and I do feel that Richard Holiday is a good talent. It's all about how he gets booked. Personally, right now, I don't know what position you put Richard Holiday in. If Tony Khan can find a way to do it and get him into a spot where he could be effective, I don't want to be a Wardlow. I don't want him to be a Wardlow to MJF. That's literally my issue. What the hell is Claudio doing? He is literally carrying... I thought he was going to do a power bomb. I thought Claudio was going to do a power bomb to him there. Off the second rope, that would have been curtains. But once again, Claudio's in the wrong angle. Jesus. Signings are pretty quiet at the moment, all things considered. Yeah, fair enough. Like, I do feel that the big thing about the reason the contracts are quiet right now, you got a mix of two different groups that got released from WWE that are coming out relatively in the same window. Because you do have to remember the... Oh. Thanks for coming, Commander. Gotch pile driver, and that should be about it. Neutralizer. Folks, before I get to my thought on that for a second here, think about this for a moment. We have Brody King, Claudio, and Kenny Omega in the same match next week. Think about that for a second. And then our fourth one is probably going to be Hechicero. And if it's Hechicero, that won't be the worst thing in the world. Just because I think we're going to have three heels. We're going to have two faces, two heels, probably. But coming back to your comment here, as we get the replay of everything with Hangman, when it comes to the signings, the 3-month window for the last set of releases in February just came up. But the ones that left at the beginning of May are effective Monday. The NXT portion of those are free Monday. So now you have a whole extra roster of people that are available. And just for the record, Zodiac, Elena Black's OF is available on Monday. Just letting you know, throwing it out there. Just thought I'd let you know just in case. Research purposes only, of course. But no, in terms of the signings, I feel honestly when it comes to AEW, they are going to have a few people. Like AEW had 3 people essentially leave their contracts this week. Yes, for science. Absolutely, Nick. For science. Always about science. I don't have an OnlyFans to get too much freestyle. You're not wrong. Folks, I'll be honest, I feel this might be our main event to Mexico. This could be our main event in Mexico. As we're getting ready for our trios match coming up here. I do feel that there's going to be some signings, but also you got to remember, like, Mariah May, Abaddon, Bear Bronson, they've all announced today that their contracts are up. I understand that they were minor players. Well, 2 of the 3 were minor players. Mariah May, that was her choice. We also got to remember in the next month here, we're going to have a bunch more contracts go up. And I also think you're going to get a bunch of contracts that are going to be extended 2 weeks. So they literally can go through All In. I think there'll be an influx of talent coming in after All In. It's sort of the same thing. Like, as much as we try to say it's a different thing between AEW and WWE, there's a lot of similarities there with the fact that after your biggest event of the year, it's easier to reset the storylines and set things up a different way. I love the fact that Ishii comes out with the openweight title. So if you didn't know, Tomohiro Ishii won the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship from a gentleman known as Konosuke Takeshita. So that's just a little bit extra salt in the wound here at this point. And just for the record, folks, we've checked the video. We checked the promo after. Adam Cole did not hit his head on the apron on Wednesday. Trying to let AEW knows Ishii does win somewhere at least. That's fair. But you notice that Rocky Romero did not go after Ishii. I really wonder if Roppongi was not allowed to be used in AEW. That they just call him RPG now. Oh, look, Collision Sidecast. Hey, Big G, good to see you. Started about 10 minutes ago. You missed a great opening match. Claudio defeated Commander to qualify. Now we're getting Brody King, Claudio, and Kenny Omega in the same match next week. Plus one more. I really hope it's not Mascara Dorada because, well, he very rarely will take a pin. Kyle showing up out of nowhere with a drop kick. How you doing tonight, McG? By the way, good to see everybody here. I know that it just hit midnight in the East Coast. All right, SRS literally just sent a note out at midnight. All right, let's. All right, so Alex Kane, former MLW champion, is now a free agent. So he could pretty much show up anywhere. Abaddon confirmed their contracts up today. And Bear Bronson, which we talked about earlier here. Unfortunately, Bear Boulder ended up... that was just a rough situation for Bear Bronson. Because Bear Boulder ended up getting arrested for domestic assault and fired. So, unfortunately, there was just no way to get the stink off that. I love how Roderick tries to use all these moves on RPG Vice. Takeshita just comes in, what booty's done. Wonder where Abaddon ends up. If she ends up signing, I could see her working with Rosemary and Jessica Havoc. Nick, remind me, did Jessica Havoc debut on Friday night? Because I heard something about that. I just haven't heard. I didn't hear exactly who the debuts were for, because eventually there were two multiple time world champion or multiple time champions that showed up. Also, 28 years later, yes, please. I'm good. I'm not good with horror to begin with. I honestly feel that if Abaddon's going to get signed, she'll get signed in TNA. Might be tough, though. The test the thing. Because she is part of the LGBTQ2 plus community. So that's the only thing I worry about when it comes to going over there. MLW is a wide open thing, right? Oh, those are leading up to next Friday. Okay. Well, you know what, McGee? I'm willing to give everybody a chance, but those fans will not stop. Like, Nick, you could talk about it more than anybody else here, but those, like the fact that TNA actually did a shirt about it. Like, you want to talk about the reason why TNA will not get booking of the year? Whoever let that production go through,
You idiot!
I'm just going to leave that there. Like, I get it. You're trying to make merch sales off of controversy, but you're going to have those shirts at every show now. Even after she's long gone. Isn't Tommy Dreamer one of the bookers? I'm not sure who the exact full booking committee is at TNA anymore. If anything, I think he's one of the overseers. Like, probably has some influence, but is it actually one of the bookers? Yeah, they're making her gimmick now, essentially. She gets insane booze, but it seems a lot of those meet and greets. Like, I've heard away from the ring that, a lot of people do like her, but like, I know Mike McGuire on the Celebrate Wrestling podcast feed, if you get a chance, go check it up on Spotify. And he has an interview a few months ago with Tessa. And you know how I complain about the Oilers hiring Stan Bowman for their team after he allowed basically his trainer to diddle young adults. And the fact that they didn't have the right answers when they hired him. Tess had the right answers. As much as I want to argue about what she did, when asked about it, she had the right answers. She was always talking about trying to get better, and do the actions back it up? I don't know. I'm not backstage, so she must have made amends somehow, because the whole locker room, you never know. Honestly, Nick, it's funny. There's this weird thing that promoters will do. If they think they can make money off something, as much as it could be destructive to a locker room, they'll do it. I totally believe people could grow and change. The biggest problem, wrestling fans. I will give you that. Is Takeshita going to get pinned out of all this? Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Oh, there you go. I was going to say, what wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to see a pin there? No, and we were talking about this earlier too, McGee. Like, the IWC makes it a whole lot tougher to do anything in a positive sense these days. And people will never forget. Scumbag behavior, Callis, really? He is really stretching. What happened to the Kingdom? They're not part of the Paragon? No. Essentially, the Kingdom are... Well, the Kingdom were scheduled to be ROH. But they haven't been on TV in a while, and Mike Bennett's always been known for his cryptic posts. I honestly feel the last couple posts that I've read, he might not be with the company anymore because he's looking for quote-unquote new opportunities. Rocky Romero did a little extra dig there. Oh, you should get in the pin again. Is it Saturday? Yep. Oh yeah, that checks. They didn't release Maria. Maria's contract, once again, it's another one of those, the contract ran out. And Maria's actually in college now. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think it's florist. I think it's for a florist degree. So, yeah, she's working that right now and just trying to get better at her life personally. And you know what? Like, a lot of people don't realize that wrestling isn't the be-all, end-all of everything. And a lot of people just, they try to obsess because they think they're their heroes, and a lot of that has something to do with it as well. And I get the hero complex that, you know, for all the people that have, once again, shitty lives, people that, you know, just the only good escape they have in their lives is wrestling, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Don't get me wrong. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's nice to see in many ways as well. But when the thing you obsess about the most in this world ends up not going your way and you're not able to pivot away from that, it can consume you, and it just drives you into a pile of hate, bitterness, and dog callous. Or Jesse Ventura if you're in a WWE seat here. Sorry, I'm throwing rim shots. It's after midnight here on the East Coast. It is 10 after 10 here right now in Edmonton. And yeah, we're throwing it all out there. And that's the thing. Like, you have all this venom, you have all this mire. In many ways, what people call it, and I really do appreciate it, is passion. And the fact that we all have passion for wrestling, whether it be just AEW, whether it be all forms of wrestling, as long as you have that passion, you have that fire, you want to see wrestling get better. Those are the people that are great to admire. And that's why I love this community the way that it is. That you guys just, you want to see wrestling get better. And as soon as they throw the warning label on, they go straight back to commercial. This scares me a little bit. Only because of the Mongo McMichael thing. Just, we all remember. We all remember. We all want to forget, but we all remember. Yes. So who's going to be checking into Monday Night Raw to see Michael Cole calling a show in a tank top? You want to talk about Netflix getting goofy? Well, we are going to see some goofy stuff on Monday. There was a bet with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. If the Knicks won, McAfee would have had to wear a suit to Raw. See, All Out's already sold over 5,000 tickets. Yeah, like, I seen the tickets. They're like, it's a third sold out already. Like, the official sales only come up on Tuesday or on Monday. Like Nick was saying, he's going to get his on Monday. And yeah, like, AEW is a hot ticket. And people need to remember that. A lot of people, it's funny because a lot of people in the States who plan to come up didn't realize how they had to get their passport updated. And yeah, like, especially in this political climate right now, that's another reason why I haven't touched getting my passport at all yet. My goal is 2026 to actually get out to some more shows, whether it be out of country or don't stick your hand out, it's 2 fingers. I love how he gets to call himself the Pride of Pro Wrestling just because of the double entendre in there. And for Continental rules, everybody's got to leave ringside, so they're actually enforcing the rules tonight. I'm impressed. Do I expect Bowens to win this? Hell no. It's also officially Pride Month here, so triple the meet. I'm actually very happy with the fact that Edmonton has decided to get into another Pride Parade. We haven't done it for like 3 years. Of course, don't look on X when the announcement was made, because I'm still in the province that thinks they're going to separate.
You idiot!
It's pretty much why I say to all those guys. It's only an elimination match? Maybe, but does he win this and then lose to... Because I think there's only one person that's beaten... And please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Is Danielson the only guy to ever beat Okada in AEW? Or who beat him in the Continental? Or was there too many draws that he couldn't catch up? I think it was Kyle Fletcher was the other one that beat him. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Nick. It dawned on me at the last second there. Because, yeah, Fletcher's the one that got first place in that pool because of that. And then you had... Yeah, it was Ospreay Okada in the semi, so Ospreay's beating him too. But look at the lineup who's beating him. I wouldn't mind Bowens winning and maybe getting one of those matches in Mexico. Because remember, we have a 2-hour show in Mexico coming up in 2 weeks. We have, in order, 4-hour Fighter Fest next Wednesday, 4 hours Summer Spectacular on the 11th, and then Grand Prix Mexico on the 18th. You tell me we aren't lined up for some amazing wrestling in June here? Little do-si-do over the top. Kataru Crusher. I love that leg lariat from behind. It's such a simple move, but works so well. But chat, once again, like, this crowd actually, I'm just thinking about this. This crowd here, this crowd is actually pretty into it overall. All right, you enjoy your evening. I'm going to stick it out here. We're already almost halfway into it. I'm just going to power through, so. All right, thanks for the tab, my friend. Thank you for the lurk. And yeah, folks, if you got to tap out for a reason, just feel free to leave a tab open. It's quite often what I do when drops are available. I'll find one of my favorite streamers of a certain thing, like MLB The Show, for example. I'll just put the thing on mute and just let those cards add up. Helps the streamer and helps you at the same time. Unfortunately, there are no drops here, but yeah, we're just at the hour mark here. We're pretty close. I'm figuring by the end of this match, we'll hit the hour mark, and then we still got we got Sky Blue and Mina Shirakawa. That very well could main event tonight. We got Mascara Dorada and Hechicero, which will be another fun match. We got the Gates of Agony getting in some work. If it wasn't for the fact that this had to be a 2-hour TV show, like if this was like a Netflix thing, yes, I understand we could have just started anyway. But if this was just a Netflix thing and they just had to get a show in, I'll tell you right now, we should be, like the Gates of Agony match should not happen. All these, any match that doesn't have any real significance, just, I understand bringing the importance of jobber teams, but you really don't need that in this case, so. Just quickly checking the socials as we go here. Once again, everybody, thank you for being here. It is, like I said, it is an interesting night tonight. And these collisions, while the quality is always there, the quality is always usually pretty high, it's very hit and miss in terms of how many people watch them, because I understand coming out of the NBA, you're hoping to get that bump based on that. But the fact that they had the half-hour post-show after, that pretty much is going to kill any extra momentum you're going to have going into that. So if I was Tony Khan this week, I almost would have considered possibly moving it to a Thursday. Or even do the double Wednesday if you had to. But right now, it's not the worst show in the world. Let's put it that way. the fact that the quality of the matches is there, especially with like an Okada Bowens going on right now, and Commander and Claudio might be the most high paced match that we get through this whole thing. So with that being there, that actually helps a lot as well. And the biggest thing is, like, I think that's why I think in many respects they should have the Dorada and Hechicero match on earlier than later. Because, well, let's face it, it's going to be late by the time, like hell, it's going to be almost midnight by the time we're done here. Like 11:30, 25 to 12, somewhere in that range. What a scissor hold there. It's almost a spot you'd expect at this point. It's hilarious. What a great shot there. I love how every time I stop talking, YouTube comes up with a warning that my audio bit rate's down to 0. Yes, I know, because I took a breath for a minute. But yeah, Chad, I've actually applied to be part of the new test program for the 2K, the ultra high res streams. I don't know if I can actually pull it off, but I'd like to give it a try on Twitch because they're experimenting with what's called 2K or 1440. That is a very interesting DDT. A twisting neckbreaker DDT right there. If it's not done properly, the guy's legs get caught in the ropes, there is a high possibility that you could actually wreck your neck on that. We're still getting the we're getting into the fourth quarter of this match here, and it's turned out to be a pretty decent one. Oh, quick pin. Because you know if he's going to win, it's going to be a pin like this, just out of nowhere. Oh, God. Nope. I love that. Here's another subtle detail. Okada never wears anything but black now. Like, he used to be so full of colors all the time. Ask him. Oh my God. Nigel pulled out the Tony Khan line. These chants justified by the crowd. This is awesome. Look at Okada's chest. Like how red it is. My goodness. What a shot to the face there. Just unloading shots left, right, and center here as we go. Yeah, we got a lot of action to go yet here. Mollywop misses, Rainmaker misses. I love how Shivani went to the rock, paper, scissors. Nope. Don't call your finisher, just hit it. And that's how Okada wins it. Folks, it's one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to a wrestler and wrestling. When you're lined up for your finisher, don't call for your finisher, just freaking hit it. Especially if you're the underdog. Good showing by Bowens, but it's early. He's still got work to do. But I do appreciate the fact that he said he was looking for gold, and now he's essentially fighting for it. Wow. Boiled hot dog ass out of here. Nice and callous to actually put on a shirt or put on a jacket. Got a shirt on. Barely. But are we gonna get Garcia against I think Garcia and Archer actually be a pretty fun feud if they could actually do it. Once again, everybody, while they're doing the old DraftKings ad and all that stuff, if you are watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up if you can. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Just to let you know, every time we go live, we're usually on at a more human time because, well, frankly, AEW is usually on a better time. We do have our gaming channel as well. For those on Twitch, make sure you hit the follow button if you haven't already. As we have now actually hit a real commercial finally. Yeah, we're going to have some fun here. I'm going to have to consider whether I'm going to stream tomorrow or not. Just because of the... let's put it this way. I got to be up at... My alarm goes off at 4:45 tomorrow morning. It is 10:30 right now. We still got an hour to go. So... I'm going to be dragging a little bit. I'm probably going to get on the sticks a little bit tomorrow with City of the Wolves like I did on Friday. Just work on some arcade runs, get a feel of a few of the fighters. Really had a lot of fun last night. Getting a chance to play with Preacha first time. And just going through that story, it allowed me to get a little bit of a feel, and I think that might be somebody I might try out a little bit more here on a little more serious level when it comes to maybe popping in some online games and such. But yeah, this week, I think the biggest thing coming up this week for me in terms of releases and fighting games and whatnot, Elena's coming out on Thursday. So I'm probably gonna, whether I do it live or I do it taped, I'm probably going to do the arcade run for Elena as we get going here. Because next Thursday, I do believe I'll be working with Kayla again on Split Fiction. And just having a blast. We're just having a blast running through that. It's a game that feels like it should be... It feels a lot shorter than it is, and all of a sudden you start playing, it ends up being 3 hours to get one chapter in. We're currently on we're starting chapter 5 of 8. So got a little bit of work to do, but we're hoping the next 3 weeks to get it done. And I guess I can show you again here since I put it here. And after that, we're going to get into a little bit of River City Girls 2. I've already played 1. It's available on the channel. And I just want a fun beat 'em up before we get into something serious. As I'm probably going to be looking at Expedition 33 coming up. And that will take a while. And that will take a lot of stress. So, but that's over on our gaming channel as well. Backbreaker_gaming on YouTube. Giovanni's trying to be impartial here. Became the winningest. That's right. The winningest tag team in AEW history is now FTR. Glad to see Cash dressed up for the occasion. At least Dax was nice enough to, you know, put on a pair of jeans. Cash wanted to hold the rope for him. I was like, go fuck yourself. I love Shivani. I really do. I wonder what's going to happen here. Dax doing the Rock little shock moments there. Mariah May, she's a generational talent. I like to fear a feud with Julia. That being said, I'm waiting to see Mina and one day work in WWE one day just to side with AEW just for Mariah. Logan, I appreciate your thoughts, and yeah, she very well could be. I just try to remember something here. Mariah, the only feud that she really had was with Toni Storm. The matches otherwise were okay. I hope she does well. I really do. I do think she goes to NXT though first. If she goes to the main roster, I will definitely be happy for her. I really do hope wrestlers go back and forth. Atlantis Jr.? Well, they're setting up Grand Slam Mexico, so I don't mind this. We haven't seen Mina yet tonight, but honestly, I don't think that far ahead. Mina just signed with the AEW, so we're probably going to get 3 years of her there. So WWE can't book the women's division. The only reason it's good as it is because really? Living Lucha Legends? Oh, no, and McGee, I'm with you when it comes to the booking at WWE. It's the talent that's there. It's not the booking. And I think maybe now, we've been 7-star FTR a little bit too long He wants a new mic, even though that one's working. No, they're saying asshole in Spanish. That's great. Pero, pero. Oh, Dax is gonna pull this again. If you guys haven't seen this, this is like annoying / amazing. Again, yeah, we're getting this match, and it's going to be a banger. They are going to have to do a few segments like this just to introduce everybody to the CML audience. And AEW is going to try their best to just push and push and push CML all the way that he can just to help out because of Worlds Collide, because of the introduction of a lot more with WWE and AAA, and the fact that AAA is the second. Basically, AAA is the second product in Mexico, and CML is the number one. Dax. Oh, what a place to do it. This is a great place. This is an absolute great place to do this, to set up for the Mexico show. Dax, maybe just give it up at this point. Yeah, of course the camera doesn't hit the first hit. Well, that's how you counter that. That's how you counter that. Yeah, this is going to be a fun match in Mexico. And that's the thing about Mexican wrestling. You know, tag teams are like one of the fortes there. It's more trios than doubles, but it's great. The family, they get the crowd gets to say ass. They can't. And you know what? The fact that they did speak in Spanish for a lot of it, rather than straight English throughout the whole thing, I don't mind that. It gives, like, you want to talk about the unique feel of wrestling and unique feel of having a different product. That's how you do it. Little things like that. Just having, oh, they're going to talk about the face-to-face here, but just having these little subtleties, these little differences. How do you appreciate all the little digs that these two ladies did during the promo on Wednesday? They all you show up, you get your flowers. When you get fed up, you leave. I really wonder, do you think that she drops the TBS title before we get to All In? Personally, I'd like to see it happen. I don't know whether it will or not, but I do wish it would. I am looking forward to that match. Looking forward to this match. The fact just getting Sky Blue back on my screen after that injury, and the fact that she didn't even know if she was going to be able to get back into it, where she's going to be able to walk even. 7 years. So 2018. But yeah, her against Mina is actually going to be a very fun match here. And Aubrey's like, you couldn't have thrown your cape a little bit farther. It's funny, Mina wanted to change her dance up a little bit with the new music. And when they killed that, they had to go back to the old one. Just because the entire crowd absolutely dive-bombed on it. Kawaii? What the... If you're going to make a poster of a wrestler, please get the damn spelling of the person's name right. Even if you got to put it over 2 lines. Learn how to spell. Meatward eats corn the long way. Who's Meatward? All right, so we're about, trying to do the math here, we're about an hour 15 in. Yeah, it was not exactly a shocker, but I think Mina pretty much ran out of things to do in Stardom. From what I've heard, like, you know, it's like, you've beaten everybody, you faced everybody, there's nobody really new to put over. And Mina just wanted a different... Don't remind me, 4-hour telecast. So I'm assuming that Summer Blockbuster's 4 hours as well, but we'll see. I'm not guaranteeing anything until I actually see it, so. But this month of June is absolutely going to be insane all the way across the board, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to being around here with all of you. Crowd charging in. Nice camera cut. I give the production guys a lot of crap, but that one was a good camera cut. The fact she made that cut before the actual botch there. It is, I understand it's pre-recorded, but still. That's different. Mina goes down with the knee driver instead of going with like an arm wringer or anything like that. Uh-oh, hardest part of the ring. Oh no. What's Sky had to do? Just literally do anything she could. Ow. That actually is pretty cool right there. Just dropped out, face first, right into the canvas. As we go to commercial break. For those who are watching from the States here, you guys get a picture-in-picture right now. Unfortunately, us in Canada, we get full commercial breaks. So, if you guys are seeing something and you're like, why isn't he talking about this? That's why. So. But all in all tonight, like, I know a lot of people have lost a lot of energy because, well, frankly, my stream time, I'm about to hit 5 hours, and we still got another half hour to go. This is just as long as that pay-per-view was on Sunday. So, whether you were here for the WWE 2K25 finale earlier, or whether you were, or you just popped in here now, thank you once again. For those on YouTube, we don't stream the WWE 2K25 run on our channel live. DMCA with the entrance music and such. So if you want, feel free to stop by our Twitch channel. It's in the pinned comment there. Feel free to give us a follow if you haven't already. And also, while you're on this show, please give us a like. We do also have a gaming channel, which Backbreaker_gaming is the link for it. Guess I should work on getting a link set up to put on the channel here. So, but more important than anything else, thank you everybody for being here. It's been a bit of a crazy crazy day at least. Just as like right now, we have really dropped the temperature. I'm just seeing that on my computer here. Earlier today, we were at 30 degrees Celsius with a lot of hot air. We're down to 12. So temperatures are really starting to fall. It's starting to get a little bit more normal now, for lack of a better term. All right, McGee, it is a battle of attrition here tonight. So have yourself a great night. Hope all goes well tomorrow. I should probably be streaming tomorrow. But if not, we'll be here for the 4-hour marathon on Wednesdays. So good seeing you, and you have yourself a great night. But yeah, just I will tell you this, the post show for tonight will be very short. There isn't much to talk about as we go. So as of right now, it looks like we at least have one match booked for Grand Slam Mexico. I wouldn't surprise me if Swerve and Ospreay were the main event. we also got that eliminator match, so we're going to have to figure out what's going on there. So, oh, they're not even waiting. So they're doing that next week. I thought they were going to wait till Grand Slam. I guess not. I do like the fact that they're doing that just because they're getting in some Lucha Libre before WWE does. You guys wanted to talk about counter programming? That's a way to counter program. That is an advantage that AEW has. And WWE refuses to bring out those fighters before. And the thing is, the Lucha Libre guys are going to be available on free TV. But yeah, you also got to look at this too with... I'm sorry, look at the back of that AAA thing. And just the biggest thing they've done all week. Alberto Del Rio attacked Vikingo's dad on TV. Everybody says it wasn't staged at SRS. I love how he came in. He's like, this is totally staged, guys. Come on now. Mina's not losing here. Or if she does, we start a rivalry. Folding press, she was already in that position, just holding the legs there. The glamorous driver. All right, they're starting to unload some shots. I like this. Hit it. That's it. Good night. So she's 3-1 now in AEW now in 2025. Hello. Hello, Julia. I like heel Julia. Is Tony coming for... Of course Tony's coming for the save. How dare she wear a blue outfit with sky blue around? I think we might have a tag match set up here. Which actually wouldn't be that bad, because Julia getting the ability to move up. This is how you build up somebody into a higher level. Bringing in Julia Hart and... All right, Gates of Agony here, but I honestly feel that. Well, remember when we were talking about the death of WCW? One of their biggest faults was the fact that they weren't able to push up new stars. They weren't able to create new stars. The fact that they're literally doing this with Julia Hart right now, and the fact that Julia's basically being put towards being that top level with a Toni Storm, with a Mina Shirakawa. Same with Sky Blue. The fact that we're probably going to get a tag match next week, because hell, we got 4 hours of wrestling coming up on Wednesday. They're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at it. So if we get that tag match on Wednesday, just and the fact that Julia can hang, like a homegrown AEW talent doing good. And the fact that she might be the one of those in the TBS title picture going forward. I don't think it happens right now because, well, frankly, she's being the heel against Tony and Mina. And Mercedes, well, I pretty much consider Mercedes the heel there, but who knows at this point? We're all over the place when it comes to that stuff. Just seeing some of the commercials coming up here, but so we got Gates of Agony coming up, and then I guess our main event tonight's going to be Mascara Dorada and Hechicero, which for wrestling enthusiasts, I think it'd be a good shot, but I think a lot of people are going to have an open mind in order to be able to enjoy this. Especially, you also got to remember, right now it's 1 o'clock Eastern. It's 1 a.m. Eastern. A lot of people on the East Coast are not watching this at this point. Or if they are, it's... Sorry, just quickly checking a couple rules here. Okay. So New Japan Global just announced officially that Tanahashi's final UK match is going to be at Forbidden Door. They literally just put that promo out on, well, I guess it was 3 hours ago. So just when Dynamite when Collision should have started. All right, we are back from the break, folks. Sorry, it's 1 in the morning. I'm a little lost for some things here to say sometimes. But yeah, we should be getting an already in the ring match, which shouldn't take too long tonight, unless we're gonna start another feud up. How many abs does Bishop have? Seriously. Oh, yes, the already in the ring gang. Let's go. Well, the crowd's all over them, and so will the Gates of Agony be in about 3 seconds here. I guess they might actually get 2 moves in here in this match. Maybe. Charisma is everything. Oh, God. That is actually pretty impressive there. A running suplex. Like, you got to take the extra energy to lift yourself up and over the way that you are. Yeah, we called it. We just called it a few seconds ago. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Wednesday is starting out. Oh, God. I miss Keith Lee. I see that Beal like that, and I remember, oh, yeah, Keith Lee could do that by himself. GMO. Maybe you need a little bit of a little more GMO in your life here. Jesus. And the pounce. All right, this ain't going to last much longer. I don't think it should. Running shotgun drop kick. Come. I love how Toa pretty much slipped through that whole thing and still hit it without a problem. You know, if you think about it too much, that is a totally illegal pin. It's supposed to be one guy and that's it. Now, do we get anybody else out to interfere here just to wake things up a little bit with them? Or is this just a put these guys over moment? Oh, goody, we get a Max Caster promo. And of course he pieces out. And peace out. That's funny. Oh, that's right. We get the LFI trios. We still got a trios match, and we got the Hechicero Mascara Dorada match. What is that mask on Mortos? He's going all white tonight. Our intimidation segment. Roosh without the helmet on tonight. I still love the gear. Like all over the place, the gear is pretty solid. No, this is Top Flight and AR Fox they're facing tonight. Which I'm expecting to get about 10-15 minutes. Then the main event will get about 10-15. That should wrap it up for tonight. All right, Layla, what are you not wearing there? Jesus. Have you ever seen a stewardess look like that? Complaining? No. In the words of Zodiac, I just leave it there. It would be nice to see Layla get some more matches in, but that's more of a Ring of Honor thing right now. I do believe she's part of the Pure tournament down there. And this right here, to me, just proves to me why we need a juniors tag division in some ways. You notice that you've seen a lot of indie wrestlers picking up the Swerve shoes this weekend? Fox refusing to go quietly into the night. All right, that was a little awkward, but almost like he wasn't supposed to trip and fall there, but he did. Still can't get over the Beast and actually his white gear tonight. Fox gets a little bit of momentum and then just gets creamed. And Dante almost domes himself. Kid's fearless, I'll give him that. And the springs that he has in those legs is just... I don't know if there's anybody else that can match him for springs. Like, he reminds me of Shelton Benjamin back when he was having the Intercontinental title days in terms of the kind of springs he could have. Really? They're doing 300 and 100 on the same taping? They're actually doing a bunch of double tapings together, which I guess makes sense in a way. I just didn't think it'd be 300 and 100 would line up like that. Well, at least the Bottle Depot is going to be happy with me. I think this is can number 5 during stream here tonight. Dante, you shouldn't be posing like... Unfortunately, they did the overhead cam and Dante's just sitting there. There's your pose that you're supposed to have like that. As we go to commercial break here once again. No, it's teams like this. It's the teams like the Crew. There's teams like Private Party. That's why I would love to see, like, I don't need the ROH tag titles involved. It's bad enough that, you know, Dustin and Sammy have had those over a year, and I almost hesitate to ask how many times they've been defended. But I do feel that they do need some kind of, you know, goal for these guys, because let's face it, neither one of these teams are beating the Hurt Syndicate anytime soon. The only team that's going to beat the Hurt Syndicate is themselves. Realistically, at this point, like, who do you pick in AEW to actually beat out the Hurt Syndicate unless it's like an all-star team? Maybe the Death Riders, maybe FTR, maybe the Bucks, but realistically, the fact that you have Bobby Lashley doing what he does best and just wrecking people, I don't think unless there's some shenanigans involved, I do not think there's a team in AEW that can really touch the Hurt Syndicate right now. It's sort of like when you put giants in your it's like when you put giants in your roster for WWE 2K25. Just seems like giants get an extra leg up on everybody else. Except the fact I lose all the time, but that's a different story altogether, but I digress. I would like to see these guys get more an opportunity than just to be on the card. Don't get me wrong, TV time is a very good gift, but they need something to be fighting for. And well, frankly, the opportunity to fight the Hurt Syndicate is not really something I'm looking forward to. Granted, I could say about 90% of the titles in ROH, but yeah, like we don't even have Bandito down there most of the time. Granted, he is on regular TV, and the more you get that title on TV, the better off I think everybody is. I love the fact that Mortos just blew snot on both guys. It's like, Dante, you should be in there a little bit sooner on a move like that. Because there is no way he should be kicking out proper on that. One of the braids got stuck in Terusa's eye there for a second. That's hilarious. I can't see. Well, there's your pre-sale code if you need it, folks. If you're going up to Toronto. Well, typically Jalisco is there to take the pins, so that's the guy you got to keep an eye on. Well, Mortos has such a hard head, I don't think it matters, does it? There's the finisher. But unfortunately, all three are working together. Okay. That was pretty decent. I like that for a finisher. If he wants to use that for an actual finisher. Oh, right on that unprotected turnbuckle. Destroyer out of nowhere. I like that even though he's Mexican, they call it a Canadian destroyer. Mad respect to Nigel there. Oh, Nick was right. It is Supercard of Honor. It's Death Before Dishonor that got moved to September. Everybody said it was coming in March, so. Nice shot with the lung blower there. I guess Jericho's in the promotion. You can't call it the code breaker, technically. Jesus. Brody King and Matt. Yeah, the Hounds of Hell versus the Hurt Syndicate. Actually, that might be a... That could be a good combination. Be a hell of a match. And I appreciate that. I actually... In thinking about it, that actually makes the most sense. All right, well... No, it's fine. I know exactly what you're talking about. And LFI wins, as they should. No, like... That's one of the homegrown teams I would love to see. Granted, I know Buddy's not, but Brody is, essentially, from me at AEW. But it's a team that would do it. I think you do... not only them, you do the BCC, or the Death Riders. Get a version of that together. Speedball Commander. And they could do trios again when Kevin Knight gets back. Does Bailey ever wear shoes? Now we're 4-on-3. Now it makes sense. But once again, like I said, they need a... Folks, did we just get Briscoe versus Mox announced for Wednesday? Did we get Mox versus Briscoe announced for Wednesday? Nah, I think we'll go with the 3 there. Because that seems rather perfect in this situation. God damn, they are turning this into a great card. I feel bad for everybody that isn't seeing this right now. That, because, there's this thing called sleep that so many people need. Wednesday is going to be such a fantastic card. It is going to be insane. But as per tradition here, we are getting close to our main event here, which doing the math, I think we're in main event territory now. So I give you a rundown on what's coming up this week. For those on YouTube, once again, please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Next time we're going to be live is Wednesday for the 4-Hour Fighter Fest. We will be live both on Twitch and on YouTube for it, which is turning into an absolutely amazing card now that we're starting to see a few more pieces put together. But before that, exclusively on Twitch. It'll either be tomorrow or Monday, one or the other. Probably going to bring the Backbaker Fight Club up. We brought a little bit of it on Friday night with City of the Wolves. I wouldn't mind getting in there and going through a few more characters in the City of Wolves arcade modes. Because I'd like to get through these now before we get to Thursday and Elena comes back, my favorite Street Fighter 3 character. So we're going to have to get into that too. Either Sunday or Monday we're going to stream. Tuesday, odds are probably no stream. It's first Tuesday of the month. So for those that aren't familiar, here in Alberta, we get 15% off our groceries on the first Tuesday of the month. So after work, I am doing some shopping for the month. And then, of course, next Wednesday, we'll be here with AEW Fighter Fest, the Sidecast. Thursday, probably, last couple times we've done it 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, with Split Fiction with Kayla J., one of my best friends and former pro wrestler. And then next Saturday, we're eyeing up some WWE 2K25 online mode, following Money in the Bank. We'll hang out and we'll book a card or 6. But no matter what, folks, thank you for being here regardless. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe if you're on YouTube. Twitch, make sure you follow it. And if you really enjoy what you see, consider hitting the... Well, I said Kevin Knight would be there. It'd be a hell of a trios match. Well, guess what we're getting? Jesus. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's not all in. It's not double or nothing. But goddamn, we are getting a card. And I'm assuming that'll be the main event. Mascara Dorada, the guy who, I believe this is the guy last year that refused to get pinned in a triple threat back when Rampage was still a thing. Or he refused to get pinned in a tag match, so he took a so Hechicero is basically Dalsum, but Mexican. Forces the fireballs both ways. I will take it. Not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a thing. It is so much fun watching Hechicero work when he gets these things rolling. And this match very well could happen. But my God, Wednesday is looking like... So, sorry, Mascara Dorada, going back to that story. Apparently there was a tag match where his team was supposed to lose. But he refused to take the L, so they made a triple threat. So the other two people got involved in the pin one way or the other. So technically he didn't lose. He considered a no contest. And then he hasn't been back since. I don't think we can really go wrong with either one of these guys. But it is interesting that they're doing this for a main event here tonight. Almost as long as Dustin Rhodes holding me on the trios titles. And of course, they got to get the Mexican referee in there, just, you know, make sure the communication works right. It'll be interesting to see how they pair up and how they set up that. I really wonder how Canada's going to handle the broadcast. Is it going to be 4 hours on TSN, or are we going to have to flip channels halfway through? I love Hechicero for the fact right there that he is he's the bigger man in the match, and he doesn't go down immediately. He makes it feel like it's a struggle to get him down on the mat. Oh God. It's an interesting rest hold there. You're just straightening out the leg. Then when he chops you, then he can grab your ankle and... I'm gonna have to try and see if we're gonna have to flip channels halfway through, or if we're gonna be able to watch all 4 hours consecutively on Wednesday. Like, TSN's usually pretty good when it comes to a 4-hour show, not having us to flip, but you never know these days. I love the fact that I love that little tap in the back just to open things up the way they do. The amount of trust that these guys have to have in each other in order to do this properly is amazing. That's something Bryan Danielson always talked about, is the fact that bow and arrow is just such a trust thing. Because you got to be able to balance your body at the same time and bend it the right way. And Hechicero literally stands up out of... Oh, God. Dorada's knee buckled there. Oh, that was weird. Wow. Little game of cat and mouse there between there just to keep the match going a little lively here. It's actually turning out really well. Just looking for that little extra spring. That's why he was on top of the ring post there. Jesus criminy. No. That was a spinning leg crucifix there. Let's not even kid ourselves. And I'll be happy if either one of these guys make it. Honestly, with the size of the other three, I actually wouldn't mind Hechicero being in there just because he is a little bigger. Because I don't feel like I want to have somebody being just a pinball throughout the entire match, and I think Mascaro Dorado would be. But yeah, just so much fun here tonight, guys. Like, I know it sucks the time of night that they had the show at. I cut it a tiny bit of a break because it is the last, well, it's the end of a dynasty. And I know that wrestling fans aren't going to be happy to hear this, but when something is coming up to an end, the way that the tradition of NBA on TNT just, it's done. It literally just finished. I'm going to give him time to close it out properly because you shoving it out the door is just a little bit of disrespect. And I think Tony Khan would agree that you got to have a little bit of class when you're doing stuff like this. But yeah, I'm very happy with the show tonight, despite the time that it's on. And look at what we got lined up for Wednesday already. Like Mox Briscoe, we got the 4-way, we got the women's tag, we got the men's trios, we got the men's tag. And you know Tony Khan's going to pull like 7 or 8 matches out of his ass. They're going to be 5 stars. And it's one of the things we find out about Dynamite so often. That literally Tony Khan can pull a 5-star match out of his ass whenever he wants. Literally, just any time. Because the roster is so deep and the roster is willing to work with each other so much. It just gives you that feel of you can do anything with them. And here's the biggest thing compared to what you see at other promotions. They consistently deliver. Like I can't remember, like let's take out the main event of Revolution. And they're literally, I don't know if I've ever seen a bad pay-per-view from AEW. And Dynamite's like, let's go. For the last 5 months, it's pretty much been even across the board. I love how we get an extra secret commercial picture-in-picture here. I think it would mean more if it was Mascara Dorada. I just think the better matchup would be Hechicero here. Well, that's one way to get out of it. Oh, there's a miss. Do you really want to go to the outside with a guy like Dorada? What a shot. What a shot. Dorada's ready. Like, you're not going to get anything wrong out of this. No, it's the chant of Dorada. I could hear that. Ugh. I can't wait for that atmosphere at Arena Mexico. Like the fact that it's sold out so quickly. Just literally flipped him in the air and just put him in a choke. He's like, no, I already have you on the ground wherever I want you. Now I'm going to put you in a choke. And right, oh, there you go. Tried to go for a modified seatbelt, just didn't have the front arm locked in enough. All right, both of them get counted out. They both advance. Well, let's have 5 people in the match. I do think we're going to have one title defense for each guy before we get to All In with in regards to Okada and Omega. And, well, Omega's doing his next week. I think Okada's got to do one yet. Well, that didn't work, but it worked. Ended up being more of a... Another TRS takedown. Jesus. Code Red out of nowhere. Like, you watch this match, and this is like a typical match you see in CMLL all the time. And it's like, I think the CMLL brand is actually quite perfect for an AEW brand just because it is very action-based. Well, somebody's not flying anymore. Drives that elbow right in the chest. That's like a John Moxley one there. Where the guy's standing up and he still does the diving elbow. Trying to remember if it was John Moxley that did that or is it Dean Ambrose that did it. I think that was more of an AEW thing as well, so. Dorado's chops are a little bit louder. A backstabber where they had to change the angle there. Just the worst thing. Once again, the thing about CMLL is not every move's going to hit. But a great camera shot will fix it every time. Oh, what's Hechicero dealing with here? Uh-oh, going up. Oh, got everything going here. BVang03, thank you for subscribing over the YouTube channel. I appreciate you. We're on our road to 1,000 here. Welcome to the Backbreaker video channel. The alert should come up, just as we're about ready to close. Because the alerts are so slow on Stream Elements. At least for YouTube they are. Okay, that hit. So we got Dorada next week.
One more for the good guys.
Told you it was coming. That's a hell of a lineup. Claudio, Dorada, Omega, and King. Like, as we are flying through this right now. Like, look at this card for Wednesday. Storm and Shirakawa versus Blue and Hart. LFI versus Team Speedball. FTR and Atlantis and Templaro. Moxley Briscoe officially announced. No title on the line, so Briscoe could actually win. And we got so much more coming in. So, once again, everybody, like, Collision delivered again. What can we say? Collision delivered again. And we're going to get some more stories coming up on Wednesday. It's going to be fun. It's going to be blast. Normally, I'd have a rundown of the card here tonight, but I'll be God honest with you guys. It's 11:45. I have to be up at 4:45 for work, so we're going to shut this down a little imminently here. But once again, everybody, thank you for being here, making this such an enjoyable experience for us here, over here on the Mike Direct Twitch channel, Backbreaker video as well. Make sure you guys have done all the subs and follows and all that stuff. I'm not going to go over it again. We're almost at 6 hours streaming too, so I'll let you guys know on X and Blue Sky if I'm going to be on the old console tomorrow on the Twitch. If I am, probably City of the Wolves is where we're going to go, or else MLB The Show, one of the two. More than likely, it'll be City of the Wolves, but once again, everybody, thank you for being here. I'm going to end you both at the same time here tonight, so it's not too often I get to do that. Usually I got to set the YouTube off, and we hang out and play a little 2K25 on Twitch, so once again, everybody, thank you for being here. Always appreciate you. And always remember, folks, no matter what goes on, and I don't care if it's 3 in the morning, be part of the solution, be part of the problem. Don't be part of the problem. Yeah. And thank you for joining me here, both the Backbreaker video and the Mike Direct YouTube channel. Take care, everybody.